Hi, this is Anna, and this is Linux Terminal Fundamentals series. And in previous video, we covered basics of navigating in Linux file system, but in this video, we're going to learn how to create files, create directories, copy them, move them around, rename them, and of course, how to accidentally not to delete them. So right now we are in this working directory, and if we want to create a single directory, we can simply type mkdir and we can name our directory projects. Now this creates a directory named projects in a current location, and if we use command ls, we can see that we just created a new directory. But things get a little more interesting when we want to create multiple levels of directories at once. So suppose we want to create the first directory called school, then put another directory Linux in there, and then put another directory and call it labs. So if we want, we can create them one by one, just saying mkdir, and first can be school, then we can put another directory inside of the school and name it Linux, and then we can put another directory and make it labs. I don't know why did they come up with these names, but that's what we're working with. Now that we created a mess of the directories, we can clean it up. And to remove an empty directory, we can use rmdir command. So we can just say rmdir projects, and projects don't have any other directories in there. That's why we can simply remove it. Now, rmdir only works with empty directories. So if we try to remove our school directory with the same command, you see it's not going to work because directory is not empty. To remove the directories that contain subdirectories, we can use rm with the flag R. Let's try it. We can say rm-r and we can use it for our school directory. R flag stands for recursion, and this just tells Linux to go inside of every subdirectory and remove everything you find in there. And let's check. Do you see now all the directories that we have created are gone? So to create a directory one by one is a lot of typing. Instead, we can use a P flag to create the subdirectories in one shot. We can simply say mkdir-p and we can create our school and Linux and then labs again. So flag P stands for parent. It tells mkdir, if any parent directories don't exist yet, create them. So Linux will automatically create all these directories all in one shot. Let's execute this command, and you see now we have our school directory, and if we go into a school directory, we can see that we have our Linux directory, and inside of the Linux directory, we have our labs directory. So let's go back. And without the P flag, the command simply won't work. We can try deleting our P flag and create another directory, school2. And you see, we're going to get an arrow saying that they can't create a directory, no such file or directory. P flag is one of those options that allow you to create entire directory tree with just a single command. Very useful. Now that we know how to create a directory and delete it, let's try to create a file. For that, we can use the touch command. And touch is commonly used to create an empty file. Let's just say touch notes.txt. Now, if the file doesn't exist, the Linux will create it, and we can verify it using lsli command. Here, interesting fact that creating files is actually not what touch was originally designed for. The real purpose of touch is to update file timestamps. Creating a file is just a side effect. If the file doesn't exist, touch creates it as an empty file in order to have something to set the timestamp on. Let's go to the previous directory And you see I have a file here. We can touch this old file and then use a stat command on this file to check the timestamps. So we can see that the file was created on this date and birth is the actual creation day of the file. Then we have the change time, and the change is just the last time the file metadata was modified, like a permissions or ownership. Then we have a modified day and time, and this is the last time file's content was changed. Now we also have an access time, and the access time is the last time the file was read. And since we just touched on it, it counts as accessing it. It turned out that creating a file was the most useful side effect of the touch command. But touch isn't the only way to create a file. In fact, many programs will create the file for you automatically. Let's head back to our playground directory. For example, we can use a Nano text editor and just type Nano, and let's create memo.txt. We can write something into a file and say, remember to learn Linux. Let's save it and exit. Now, if we check, we have a memo text created with Nano and notes text we created using a touch command. Now, to simply view the content of the file, we can use a cat command. We can say cat, and since we don't have anything in notes, we can use it on our memo.txt file. And here it says, remember to learn Linux. And what we can do now is we can copy the files using cp command. We can simply say cp and then memo.txt, and memo is the source file, and then we need to list our destination file. We can just say memo backup.txt, and cp command creates a new file that contains the same data as the original file. Let's see what's inside of our new backup file now. Using a cat command, we can say cat memo backup.txt. Here you go. It also says, remember to learn Linux. Now, here's a fun fact. CAT stands for Concatenate. Again, like a touch, the name reveals its original purpose, which wasn't just viewing files. What it was designed for is join multiple files together. So we can say cat memo backup, and also we can add our memo.txt. So you see it printed both files, one after another, concatenated. So we can also use cp command with directories, but don't forget the R flag. Let's just list all the directories that we have here. So we have our school directory in here. Let's use cp command with our flag R on our school directory, and school is the source directory, and we can have a school copy directory created. Let's see, now we have both school and a school copy directory created using a cp command. And again, R is a recursive flag that tells Linux to copy everything inside of the directory. Now let's try mv command. mv can actually move and rename files. Okay, so let's say move memo.txt into a new memo.txt. And this command renames the file. So we used to had memo.txt and we renamed it, and now we have a new memo.txt, which is a new file name. But what we can also do is we can move files with mv command. Right now we are in our playground directory, but if we go one level up into the parent directory, let's see what I have in there. You can just say cd, and as you can see, I have a file saved in here. It's actually the poem, and it's in my directory. What we can do is we can move this song of myself txt into our playground directory. And if we head into a playground directory, we can see that now this file is located in our playground directory. And just to check, we can go back and see that it's no longer where it was before in just the dir directory. Okay, so let's head back to the playground again. So what's happening behind the scene is that the file is removed from the directory and then it's placed inside the new directory. In our case, it's a playground directory. Nothing is copied, the file is not duplicated, it's the same file, just relocated. So now you can see that mv command is actually doing two jobs depending on how you use it. It can move files and it can also rename the files. So now let's talk about the command that has probably caused more panic than any other Linux command. And yes, it's an rm command. Unlike Windows, Linux doesn't have a recycling bin that keeps deleting files temporarily. Linux doesn't ask you, are you sure? And there is no restore from trash. Linux simply assumes you know what you are doing. Let's list the files first, and let's try this infamous rm-rf command. So we can just say rm, and we can use rf flag to remove, for example, our school copy directory. If we list the files again, you see the directory is completely gone. And R is again a recursive flag, and F means force. So recursive means remove everything inside, and force means do not ask questions and combine together. You basically telling Linux, delete the entire tree and don't bother arguing with me about it. So while it's extremely useful command, it's also one of the easiest ways to accidentally delete something. And I made a very funny meme about that. I'll leave a link in the description. And finally, the last two commands that we talk about are quick preview commands, which are head and tail. We can try using a head first. And this file is actually a poem, so we don't want to view the entire poem. We can just say head and copy this file and check out the first few lines of the file. And now we can try something cool with the head command. Okay, so what we can do is we can say tail, use a flag F with the same file. Now, as you can see, these are the last few lines of the poem. Terminal is now locked in live watch mode, and the F flag means don't stop, keep watching the file. So now that we have another terminal open, what we can say is echo, and we can send some text to our file. For example, remember to learn Linux. And we want to send it to the file. Now let's hit enter, and here you go. The line appeared in the end. And this was it. What you should take away from this is Linux doesn't hide anything from you. It gives you a full control, which is powerful but also dangerous. In next video, we will cover some other commands. Leave a comment with your favorite Linux commands or some that drive you nuts. And I want to say thank you to those who always participate in my polls and engage in conversations, because I love to learn more about you. And here, finally, I have a good news. I made my website, techfairy.lab, decent looking, so go and check it out. I leave a link in the description below. You can now sign up and you can also sign in. Then you can have an access to all of my social media platforms if that's what you want, because you can go and check out my Instagram account. You can also go on Patreon and become a member. You can buy me a coffee if you want. And I recently started a TikTok, so I put a link to the TikTok as well, just in case if you want to see more of me. Anyways, if you're not subscribed for my channel yet, you should go ahead and click that button, or at least give me a like. Okay, until next time, bye.